This next lesson covers cost accounting and reporting for Drivve Print, which is a separate module if you remember. So cost accounting covers the ability to associate costs for different jobs and for different actions on the printer. So if someone's printing a color job and it's duplex, it should cost something, and it should be a little more if it's simplex, right? We also allow for the ability to build to cost accounts for projects and clients. So if you're a law firm or if it's a school, they can associate and track costs for each student. And then obviously what goes along with that is reporting. So we can generate a host of different reports, both summary reports and specific reports for costs, for activity, and for just overall usage. The reporting module doesn't necessarily need the authentication module because we can still generate reports and costs for all outgoing prints, but the authentication module allows us to track scans and prints and copies and faxes. So the very first place to start is, if you remember, we were bringing in LDAP users and we skipped this field here, the default cost account. Sometimes you can bring it in so that it doesn't go just to the default cost account, but it can go to, for instance, the student's cost account if we were only bringing in students, which we were in this case. The next thing that you're going to want to do is set up pricing models. So there is a default pricing model here. Each of these are in cents for different functions. So a scan side is 0 by default, and you go up here, we have a large paper sheet, standard size, small color, and you can create as many of these different pricing models as you want to apply to different groups and different clients. If I go up one to cost accounts, you'll see that there are some built-in accounts here, and then also I've created one called account A and one called account B, and you can give it a name, you can give it a description, a billing code, and here I can say if it's a client, a project, a group, a department, or a user. Remember, we still will be able to do regular billing for the users if we wanted to get an idea for the cost of that user. But this is if we wanted to do separate, allow one user to bill it to somebody else. And here, so I also have a subtype, and then there I can set a pricing model. The next thing that I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to bring in these users into that cost account. So what this means is that Bobby Hill, when he logs in, he'll have the ability of billing that job to account A. If you want to do groups so that this is made a little easier, you can create a group here in the group section. So let's say this is students or administrative or whatever. You can add users so that when you want to assign a group to a client or to a project, you don't have to do it user by user. So I'm going to go back here and I have account B as well. It's the same thing, just a different code. And what this means is that now when Bobby walks up to log in, he'll have the option of billing it to either account A or account B, which you'll see in a later video. One other function that's included here is the ability to set a role. The standard user is able to do everything pretty much, but you could also create unique roles here that allow or disallow functions of the copier. So for instance, if we only wanted users to print in black and white and duplex, we could set that role, and when we bring the users in, we can set a standard role, or we could set groups of users to be a specific role. So it's just kind of basic yes or no stuff, but you can create different combinations.